it is necessary to purge the establishment.
What she's suggesting that churches do, a focus on...
That's not necessarily a good thing to start with.
The state of
It wasn't around when we needed the greatest generation of the 30s or 40s.
It happened before the election because there are too many Republicans that are afraid that their wrongdoing is going to...
It's unacceptable, and I'm not going to sit here, stay silent, and not call it out. I'm calling out their lies.
Do they think that we are so stupid that we will not notice and find out?
It's 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Thursday. It's Thursday. Where have we been? So many things have gone on since last I've seen you. 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Here's my 2 cents with your host, me, Keith, 2 Cent Sanders. You have missed me, but I know you've been following me. We had a huge weekend for RamTV.live at CPAC this past weekend. We're going to talk about that. We are growing. A lot of respect and big thank you to our producer, Juan. He's always behind the scenes. You hear me talking smack about him. A lot of respect for the guy. He's made some really good connections, and people respect him and they see what he's doing. We're growing. Much love to you, my friend. We did a really good job this year, and he's given us a big thumbs up. We have some good coverage for you coming up. I would love for you all to shoot over to Facebook. Give us that follow. Juan puts a lot of time into that. Facebook, search for Right America Media. Put that across the bottom here for me, Juan, if you can. Right America Media on Facebook. He's growing it over there. We have a lot of really good coverage, but I don't want to go too far down that path right now. CPAC, hey, love seeing you, Megan. Thank you for coming along. As you guys talk to me during the show, I'll talk right back to you. We'll have a good time. I wasn't able to go live tonight. I'll get to my sort of what we're going to do tonight here in a second. I couldn't go live tonight because I got banned. Normally, I like to talk to you live on TikTok and then shoot you guys over here. I got banned for bullying and harassment because you guys know me. I bully and I harass. I was talking a little smack about General Milley specifically, but I think he's a public figure and he's also a kiss ass. That's not a swear one. And I get to talk smack about him. But I appealed it. It's a 3-day ban. It's been 2 days. So by the time they get around to it, I'm going to be back anyway. But anyway, I digest. So we're going to talk about CPAC. We're going to talk about how great we are, mostly how great I am. We're going to talk about Russia and how great Joe Biden is. And he's led a coalition, created a coalition. He's definitely out front, not leading from behind like his former boss did, or maybe his current boss. I didn't say that. We're going to talk about the State of the Union. It sucks. Spoiler alert. The State of the Union is it sucks there. We'll get to that in a moment, though. We'll talk about the flip-flopping that they're doing on policy. They sound a lot like Republicans. And we'll got some good videos for you. I think Juan's might got some fun stuff for us at the end. Where have we been? We've been out there making things happen. Like I said, we've been growing. I've been really happy to be a part of this. As you guys know, it's been a pretty tumultuous year for me, but Juan kept the spot open for me, and I've been really glad to be back. And there were several events I was supposed to be a part of last year, but you guys know me, I'm lazy, and I decided to lay up for 2 straight months in my house. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go back and take a look at some of my older stuff. But we got to go to CPAC right here in my home state. You make me laugh every day. Thank you for that, Celia. I never have a clue if anybody laughs at my stuff. I actually put time into it. I think it's funny, but it's just me talking to myself. Just follow me on Facebook. Thank you for that, Megan. Share it with your friends. Let people know about it. I really appreciate that. I say things, I think it's funny, but I don't know if you guys think it's funny. So it's usually just me in my office like now, or me in the garage yelling at my phone. So if you guys think it's funny, please give me that feedback, because I don't know. My wife, I think she just humors me and gives me that fake laugh. Let's get back to CPAC in Orlando, Florida. Huge event, bigger than last year, I would think, for 2 main reasons that I could think of off the top of my head. The first one is there was still some hesitancy surrounding COVID last year. It was February, March of last year, not too long after the inauguration of Joseph R. Byron. January 6th had happened not too long before that. There was still COVID hesitancy, like I said. CPAC was supposed to be happening in Washington. Of course, Ron DeSantis said, we're open. Bring your money. Bring that money down here. Leave it behind. I got plenty for you to do. I got sunshine. I got beaches. I got the house that the mouse built. I've got Universal. I've got restaurants. You name it. I got the beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes. If you know what that is, drop that in there. I absolutely love that at Thanksgiving every year. So they brought it down. There was a decent amount of folks in there. The hotel that we were at, you don't get a plug. They were nice enough to host us because it was definitely very high time for cancel culture. And they were approached with, how are you going to host this? Of course, there are a bunch of bigots over there. And they had the right answer, of course, which was, we support everyone's right to freedom of speech. And they held the event. That was last year. Let's go to this year. Man, 3 times the size, Juan. Can I get a shake on that? Yeah, at least 3 times the size. I'd be willing to push upwards of 4. President Trump, number 45, had said to Mark Schlapp, hey, thank you for hosting this down here. Good job. That place wasn't nearly big enough last year. If you build it, they will come. And sure enough, they gave a bigger venue and they came. We got some good man on the street stuff. I don't know if we'll be able to get it in here today, but we went out there. That was a lot of fun. We were talking with people outside. Juan, did you already pull up that video? Am I live right now? I saw a swap. I'm still live? Okay. And we're good to go. Okay, so we had a lot of people there, and then there was at least twice the size of the media row. So the media row was doubled up, and people remembered us, which was really cool. And of course, we remembered them. We got some great interviews. Your boy got to talk to the Attorney General, which Juan has queued up here in a moment. The Attorney General and I spoke. Are you already pulling that up, Juan? I can't ever tell. Okay. The Attorney General, Ken Paxton, and I spoke, and then I got to, I sort of sniped my way in to talk to former governor of Florida and current senator from Florida, Rick Scott. I had an opportunity to sort of snipe him. We got that queued up. That's the one I want next one. Let's get that one going. Not yet. And also Doug Collins stopped by, former representative from Georgia. The ever polarizing Marjorie Taylor Greene came by to speak with us. We had Homan, the former Border Patrol, head of the Border Patrol, right? He came by. We're building, we're growing, and that has a lot to do almost entirely with Juan. Obviously, this guy has a full-time job. He's a pilot, by the way. Not as good as your boy, but he's okay. And he's also running this whole platform for us, and he put this together. Can we just say we didn't believe any of the propaganda coming out of the Russia-Ukraine situation? We'll talk about that here in a minute. Let's hold on to that, put a pin in it, as they would say. Let's talk more about how great we are and that we are growing. That was really cool for me to see. People recognized us, remembered us. That was a lot of fun. I force your videos upon my coworkers. They think it's hilarious too. Thank you. Thank you. I like your coworkers. I would say you're not forcing it. They're probably asking for it. That's probably really what's going on. Okay, CPAC. We had them stop by. Great conversation, cool interviews, and we're growing and everything's going good. We've got one queued up for you. I was able to snipe a quick interview. You ready for it, Juan? All right, let's play that one. Can you talk to us about the feckless nature that this administration is approaching the aggression of Vladimir Putin?
I mean, it's so disappointing. I mean, why did Biden never let them have Nord Stream 2? I'm finally glad he finally got rid of Nord Stream 2. But why didn't he do the sanctions earlier? Why didn't he do this before? We're seeing all these Ukrainians die. It's the craziest thing in the world.
Do you believe him when he says that his sanctions will be as devastating as guns, bullets, and rockets?
I don't think guns, bullets, and rockets, I think, are pretty devastating.
Appreciate your time, Senator. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
I kind of sniped him. I sniped that dude. This is how I got him, right? So I think it was the Federalist folks might have been standing there doing a interview, and I was talking with this other producer named Derek, and he's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm just going to get in there, dude. He's like, really? How? I'm like, I don't know. Let's go find out. So I just went straight up, put out my mic. Cool. We had the cool little Right America media around it. I don't know what that little base is called, but it looked cool. I just sort of held it out there. Look at me. I'm a reporter. And I put it out there. And then he was about to walk away, and this is how I got him. I said, sir, do you have time to talk to a veteran-owned operation? Boom. Done. Camera right there. What is he going to do? Say, nope. I'm a Republican in a red state, and I don't have time for a veteran. So come on. I threw him a softball. I'm not going to lie. Ooh, my allergies. I threw him a softball. I absolutely did. But that was a lot of fun. That was super cool. That's one of our current Florida senators, Rick Scott, former governor of the state. I would definitely say he's got some aspirations. He's currently the head of the, I believe it's the Republican congressional election campaign. So he's definitely making some moves. But I'm sorry, you're not Ron DeSantis, who's had to govern during COVID, who's had to make really hard decisions that he was pressed and really shamed about. I mean, the press was all over him. They were shaming him. He's trying to kill everyone. He wants everyone dead. He when we got the vaccines, he prioritized the most vulnerable, which of course are the elderly. And then he was pressed for being bigoted because our elderly also happen to be majority white. So therefore he was a bigot. What's up, KR? Appreciate you being here. Did you get to check us out at CPAC? Did you see me? I went live when 45 was talking. I think we were carrying about 1,400 people at a time, which is a ton on TikTok. I think we reached 38,000 people that day. So like I said, I threw him a softball. He's not DeSantis. He's probably going to have to wait till later. DeSantis has all the momentum in the world. Then again, with Joseph R. Byron just absolutely falling apart right now, Trump is really getting back in the mix. They did the CPAC straw poll, and I wouldn't say he ran away with it, but he was over 50% of those that were there. That's the base. That's the base, and it's a big base. Ron DeSantis got second place. I think Ron DeSantis was first place in last year's, or maybe it was a different CPAC event in another location. But for our Florida senator, you didn't have to govern during COVID. So, like, I like you and you're doing well in the Senate, but you didn't govern. So, if you have those aspirations. So, all right, let's wrap it up with CPAC. I think we should wrap it up with CPAC because we have to talk about, what do we have to talk about? We have to talk about what everybody has to talk about. Everybody has to talk about Russia. Russia. Mitt Romney took a quick victory lap because you'll remember when he ran against Obama in 2012, he was lambasted by the left about how he said that it was Russia that was our biggest geopolitical adversary. And Obama said at the time, the 1980s called, they want their foreign policy back. So he got the quick laugh. Everybody laughed. That was super, super funny. Biden is a mess, KR. We're going to get that here in a moment when we talk about the State of the Union. So you got good old Mitt Romney. He's an absolute snake in the grass, and he got to take his quick little victory lap. Let me start off by saying a couple of really big things here. War it's gross. It really sucks. War really sucks. I read a quote recently. I'm going to try to paraphrase it. It is the soldier who prays hardest for peace. It really is. Like, we're going to go in there. We're going to go in there, and we're going to fight for our country. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what your sex is, your color, your sexuality. Nobody cares. We care that you put your right hand up. You're trained and you're ready. Let's go. The bad guys are over there, and we're going. So we're going to go fight. We're going to do it. However, war is awful. It's awful. I still think about what I did to defend my country, and there are people that are dead because of me. They tried to kill me, and guess who's still here? Spoiler alert, I won that one. What's up, Jim? I appreciate you being here. Make sure you spread it with your friends. So war at the beginning is just awful. It's gross. It's starting to look like Putin is going to use old tactics, which is to say, I'm not running over this military, so I'm going to start going after your civilians. It's what it's starting to look like, which is a pretty horrible way to conduct war. It's I'm going to pummel your civilians until you have to give up, because I'll just stop attacking you and I'll just keep shelling, rocketing, and dropping bombs on civilians, which is a pretty disgusting way to fight a war. You would think we were past that. Let's put my military against your military. At least, I don't know, keep the civilians out of it. It's pretty gross. The other side of my 2 points here is I don't know what to trust coming out of this. I've seen the 13 Ukrainian military members who said F you to the Russians who were going to take Snake Island, and then they fought valiantly to the death. Nope, they didn't die. I guess the recording is correct, and there wasn't 13. There was like 80 something of them. They were captured. You saw pictures of Zelensky in trenches with a helmet on, and you're like, damn, okay, let's go, bro. Like, let's defend this. And then it turns out to be a years old picture that's been recycled. There's people that are being shown as crying in front of rubble, and that was from something else. And then you see the numbers of how many planes have been shot down, how many Russian planes have been shot down, how many people have died. And I'm like, come on, it's really that number. It's really that number. You got 29 of their aircraft. And I'm not talking about their low-flying helicopters or low, slow-flying helicopters. They're talking their jets they're taking down. They're supposed to be this first ace in Europe since World War II, and then that's not looking real. I don't know what to believe. Where are you guys on that? I don't know. The numbers that are coming out on one side and the other, who knows what's going on? You see some footage, and it turns out not to be real. let me go back to the beginning. I don't want war. I don't want this at all. Ukraine, I don't think is the most democratic, or I think there's probably some corruption problems over there. I mean, I'm probably going to get in trouble. There was a certain politician's family member was doing business over there with energy, and this family member didn't know anything about energy, and they were getting paid a little money, and I didn't say any names. But if they were to bunt a ball in baseball, you would call them bunter. Can we do that? I think that's fair. I think we got that one by. So Russia, it's pretty crappy. I'm worried that this is going to drag on. I think the Russians expected to run them over, to take over, to get into Kyiv. I understand that's the correct way to say it. I really hope that I say your capital's name correctly, Kyiv. I believe that the Russians pronounce it Kiev, so let's not do that. There's a woman I follow on TikTok who is from Ukraine, moved here, and I believe she pronounced it Kyiv, so I'd like to be sensitive to that. I really do believe the Russians thought they were going to run them over. I got to tell you, something I mentioned in the lead up was it's the logistics that are the major problem. That's the big difference between us and Russia and China is logistics. Our ability to put bombs on target, we're going to do that all day long. But can we get the bombs to the aircraft? Can we get the fuel to the aircraft? Can we get the parts to the aircraft? Can we get the people to the aircraft? Can we get the food for the people for the aircraft? You see where I'm going with this? The logistics is what makes you win a war. Yes, we can strike the target. We have the intel. We have the whole loop. We have the intel. We have the action. We have the post, and we know what it all is. And we're going to hit that target. It's, can you get the beans and the bullets forward? And it looks like the Russians don't have that ability. And again, I don't know what to trust. I have no idea what to trust that's coming out of this. I see the picture of this long convoy that appears to be stuck. I saw a video of a dude rolling up to some, they keep calling it a tank. It's not a tank. It's armored personnel carriers. It'd be nice if people knew the difference. And it was stalled on some random country road. And the dude drove up and he's like, hey, do you guys need a ride back to Russia? And they laughed. And I'm like, shoot the invaders. Am I crazy? They're invaders. Well, aren't you fighting? And you're making jokes with the guy? I'm following for more people from Ukraine than ever. I thought I would. Yeah, good. That's fair. I don't know what to believe, Celia. I don't. And then I saw another video where the tractor pulling an armored personnel carrier, I believe. And again, they called it a tank. And it's funny. It's totally funny, but these are invaders. They're invaders. I don't get it. Love from New York City, brother. I'm originally from New York City, Staten Island, Staten Italy, as some might call it. I don't know. I think that's my big one. My two big ones. War is disgusting, and I don't know what to believe coming out of it. Let's talk about how we got here. We got here because of Joseph R. Byron. He turned on Nord Stream 2. He hasn't put sanctions in place to tighten the economy of Putin. We are still buying oil from Putin right now. Right now, we're buying oil. What is that money being used for? Joseph R. Byron wants to go up there and say that we're strangling them with the sanctions. Stop buying their oil. Why is he not? Why is he not ending this? Because then fuel prices go up from this massive increase that we've already seen. And he's trying to keep those prices down. But I've been told that the president doesn't set prices unless he can lower it by 2 cents. And the president totally raised, or it has something to do with prices, but he doesn't have anything to do with the increase. He only has something to do with when it decreases. We all know that. And he's trying to affect that by buying the damn oil. He released more oil, I think 30 million barrels. We use 50 million a day. So those 30 million from the strategic petroleum reserve got us till about now, right now. And we ran out of those 30 million barrels. That has nothing to do with the supply. That supply already existed. Second best podcast on YouTube. No, Victor Nieves. It is the best. You are solid, though. I appreciate you being here. I would like you guys all to go check out Victor Nieves. We did a really cool interview a couple weeks back. Strong conservative, strong Christian. I have a lot of respect for you, young man. You got a bright, bright future ahead of you. I really appreciate being able to speak with you. Victor Nieves, go check him out. Good guy. Back to our reactionary leadership, if you will. I would say that Macron in France has probably had a bigger influence on what's happening here, trying to broker some peace. That I am seeing some of that where he's on the phone with Putin. I don't think Joseph R. Byron is doing anything to really affect this. He's following from behind, just like his former or current boss, depending on how you want to look at it, Obama. The sanctions, let's play some devil's advocate. Some people say, well, you put sanctions on before he does it. Doesn't he basically go, well, I already got punished. Might as well do it. Okay, I entertained that. I did. I entertained that. Like if we start hitting him and he hasn't done anything yet, then shouldn't he just go ahead and do it? Well, then you don't use all of the arrows in your quiver. Hey, you're amassing troops on the east of Ukraine. Here's some sanctions for you. Back up, we'll take the sanctions off. You've put forces in Belarus and you say you're doing an exercise while your forces are on the east. Here's some more sanctions for you. Take them out, we'll take them off for you. You put forces in Crimea. That's 3 sides now. Here's some more sanctions for you. Back up and we'll take off these sanctions. You see what I'm saying? You're not necessarily incentivizing him by punishing him before he did it. You're letting him know, poke, find out, mess around and find out. Do it again. Okay, now you get this. Do it again. Okay, now you get this. And I've got more. I got a whole bag of shh with your name on it. Name the movie. Shh. I got a whole bag of shh. It's exactly what he could have, should have done. Nord Stream 2 should have never been turned back on. That was the pipeline that goes from Russia into Germany. But our friends in Germany wanted it, of course. And also because Trump had sanctioned it, Trump did it. Joseph R. Byron must not do it. And sure enough, that played into it as well. We didn't do anything until it was too late. It is a little strong, but we were reactionary. If you guys follow me at all, peace through strength is something I've talked about. Peace through strength is proactive. Peace through strength is not reactive. Once it's already happened, you ain't strong, dude. You're reacting to what he did. He's got you reacting to him. And again, obviously, Ukraine is not part of NATO. Let me take a step back. I incorrectly said that Russia was a part of NATO in a previous podcast, and it's been bothering the hell out of me. Actually, what I meant to say was they were part of the UN. And because they're part of the UN, they have ability to do some vetoing over on the UN side. So let me pull that back. I know you guys think I know everything, and I almost know everything, but I made a mistake on that one. So let me pull that back. To surmise this, because we got to spend some time on the State of the Union and all the flip-flopping that happened over there. We were reactionary, not proactive, which is a terrible way to do this. We weren't walking softly and carrying a big stick. We were kowtowing to leftists who want the Green New Deal and want to remake America in an image of hedonism, if you will, for lack of a better term. And you had a strong, aggressive leader who's despicable at every measure, who said, "You got a weak president over there. It'd be terrible if somebody invaded this country next to me. It'd be real terrible." And he poked and he prodded and he tested the waters, and Joseph R. Byron didn't do anything until he went in. We have a lot more to talk about with that. Come back Monday, 7:30 p.m. I'm sure I'll have more of that. Or follow me. Start throwing my stuff up here for me, Juan. 2 Cent KSJ on the TikTok. Here's my 2 cents right here on YouTube. And also follow us on ramtv.live. Let's do a flip over to the State of the Union. I already gave away the meat and potatoes on that one. The State of the Union sucks. Joseph R. Byron will tell you it's stronger now than it has been. Joseph R. Byron will tell you things are better today than they were a year ago. And I'm not making this up. He said this. I don't know if anybody you watched it. You should have been watching me. I was live at the time and giving you reactions live. He said it's better today than it was a year ago. Gas being up over 50% is better than it was last year. Rising inflation at 40-year records, better than it was last year. Russia invading Ukraine, raising up our inflation most likely and our fuel costs, better than it was last year. Record numbers of people illegally coming across the border, better than it was last year. We have a labor participation rate, which is continuing to plummet, which is to say this unemployment rate is a crap number. It really is, because you have all these people who just haven't returned to the workforce. That's better than it was the year before. The inflation, let me bring it up again, is outpacing wage growth, but he's going to lie to you and tell you that it's not. That's better than it was a year ago. He had the 3 vaccines and more people died in 2021 than they did in 2020. And that's better than it was the year ago. The division in this country is worse than it's ever been probably since the time of, Lincoln. I was about to say Reagan. It's pretty bad then, but definitely not as bad as it was under Reagan. We had a civil war then. But it's better, and folks just can't see it. Also, he said that. Folks just can't see it. He really just wishes that you guys weren't as dumb as you are. It'd be really helpful, because then you could see how great he is and all the great and wonderful things. you also have to understand that they are sanctions to Putin is taking his allowance away. And really, it's not even his allowance. It's maybe a piece of it, but we'll get back to that. Back to the State of the Union. They're doing an absolute flip, and they're going to gaslight the hell out of you. They're going to gaslight the hell out of you. They said we need to fund the police, not defund the police, and they got a rousing applause from their Democrats who were on TV saying we need to defund the police and reallocate money. Don't fall for the word games of reallocate money. Was them not saying defund the police? That was defund the police in a sort of pragmatic, centrist way, so they could get away from the term defund while also appeasing those on the far left. So now we're going to fund the police. We need more border security. And then right after that said that we need to make everyone who's here illegally citizens. So nice mixed messaging on that one, because obviously you're going to make everyone who's already here illegally a citizen. And then you get the right to vote and you get all this really cool stuff for being an American now. He also said that he's going to lower prices, but I was told that the president has nothing to do with prices, but he's going to lower the prices because that's when the president has something to do with prices. And he told these companies, and this is really smart economics, everybody, lower your costs, don't lower your wages. Wages are cost, Joe. One more time. Wages are cost. When you increase cost, it increases cost to consume, Joe, which is why your inflation is outpacing your wage growth, Joe. How about some deregulation, Joe? How about we increase competition, Joe? How about we lower taxes, Joe? No. Right after he said that we need to be lowering costs, he said, I'm going to raise your taxes. Also cost, Joe. Also, it's cost, Joe. That's cost. That's cost, Joe. Do you understand that? You do the whisper thing. I'll do the whisper thing. That's cost, Joe. Get out of business, Joe. The federal government has no part in this. This is going to turn into exactly what it was under Obama. Him picking winners and losers. It's exactly what this is going to do. It's going to reduce innovation. It's going to reduce the American machine of small business. And it's all about, what was this? Lauren Boebert was my favorite part of the State of the Union. She couldn't keep her tongue to herself. Would we really want that on the other side? I see where she's coming from, but it's going to kind of become more of a parliamentarian style where they just sort of shout at each other. Hang tight, KSUK Uncensored is next. Absolutely it is. It's a great show. She's already getting a plug on my show before I got a minute. I got 2 minutes, KSUK. Come on. You're stealing my thunder. They're absolutely going to turn on a dime. They're doing it right now. They're running away from the hard left. I'm stealing this from Tucker Carlson. I can't say this was on my own. He mentioned how in the State of the Union address, not once was the word equity used. And they've been pounding us with equity for all of 2021, which, of course, I said sounds a lot like equality, but it is certainly not equality. Equality is equal start. Equity is equal outcome. So, of course, that kills innovation and initiative and risk. It kills all that stuff. But you know what? I've got a minute and a half. I wish we had more time. Can we do an hour? No, we're not doing an hour, Juan. Maybe next time. Let's get the plugs going. Let's get it. Get it up here. I want to see it. We are sponsored. I actually saw Mike Lindell. He saw me. He ran right up to me. This might not be true, but it's based on true events. We are sponsored. Get it up here, Juan. There it is. My Pillow. I've seen Mike Lindell. We met each other. Might also not be true. But listen, go over to My Pillow. Use our promo code. It helps us out a lot. It helps you out a lot. You're going to get great deals by using that promo code RAM, or Romeo Alpha Mike for you super cool types. Put in that promo code and go over to mypillow.com. I have a My Pillow. I have the My Pillow sheets. They're great. You guys are going to want to get that. I got about 30 seconds left. KSOC is next. She's already pinging to get into my show. Yep, here it is again. She wants it on my show. She's got a great guest. I really like what she's doing over there. It's the okayest show, I think, on ramtv.live. That's a huge compliment. You can list that on your resume. You absolutely can list that on your resume. I want you guys to stick around, but don't forget, come back next week on Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on Ram TV for yet another episode of Here's My 2 Cents with me, your host, Keith 2 Cent Sanders. Have a good night, everyone.
Welcome to K-Soak Uncensored. Today's guest is Sophie of New York City. Born and raised in New York City, she has seen quite a few changes over these past few years. Come on in, Sophie. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me, Kate.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're on. It's been awesome connecting with you over Instagram. So understanding you're born and raised in New York City. I know I didn't share this with you yet. I only did just under 2 years, but I lived in Astoria, Queens, and worked in the Empire State Building. And that was quite the experience, but I'll be honest, after 2 years, it was nice to get back to my suburban life. But there's nothing like New York City. So I'm sure you've lived quite the great life there so far.
Yeah, as a New Yorker, born and bred New Yorker, I'm always going to love New York, and it's always going to have a really special place in my heart. But it has gotten to a point for me that it's not my home anymore. And there's been a lot of things that have happened for me in the past few years and, more, even, the past 10 years maybe, that I just don't feel like it's the place for me. And maybe it's the place for other people, but personally, it's a bittersweet moment because,
Right.
I'm a grown up now, and it's I have to make the right decision, not just the easy decision.
Right. No, that's a really good point that you make because, it's not so easy just to pack up and move. And then the nostalgia aspect of it. But
Oh my God.
so
That's the worst part. It's the worst part
Right.
because so my mom and dad moved. They sold the apartment that I spent 25 years in. And I just have like hundreds of videos and pictures just of that empty apartment just because I was sad. That's my, where I lived my life. Every big event that has ever happened to me, whether it's, graduating middle school or getting into college, happened there. So
Right.
it's sad, but I can understand why it's time to move on. And I'm 26 and I don't have any kids or, anything holding me back. And I think that if I'm not going to get out now, then I'm never going to get out. So
Right. Absolutely. And so I hear you have Florida on your short list, or is that the place you are going?
it's the place. My parents actually just moved to Florida, and I think that for me at least makes it quite a bit easier to pick up my life in New York and move because I have, my two best friends down there and my two, dogs that I grew up with. So I definitely have roots down there already. But for me, the main point of moving is freedom. And I'm someone that really values that as an American citizen and as somebody whose parent, my dad, is an immigrant of a country that doesn't have the same freedoms that we have. It's really important to me that I follow my heart to somewhere that at least, lives up to the American Constitution and, that's been a big part of, every American's life, whether they realize it or not.
Absolutely. Make America Florida is a real thing. It's a movement. And I have a shirt that says that I wish more governors were as bold as Ron DeSantis. I wish, actually, I don't know if you've heard, some people call him DeSavage.
Right.
I love that. It's like perfect for him.
He's a hero. He's a hero. He's one of my heroes. He has at least with the left, has a horrible reputation, but I have felt really ostracized and alone in New York over the past, 7-8 months when the mandates were put in place, or at least the vaccine mandates. I have a genetic heart condition, so I'm somebody that's been through a lot in the past 26 years that I've been alive. And, I've gone through 2 open heart surgeries. I was on a wound vac for 10 weeks when my second heart surgery, whether, it was an issue with my body or an issue with whoever closed me, my wound opened up. So I was on a wound vac. I have extreme trauma from it. I have been diagnosed with severe anxiety and, I have been recommended against getting the vaccine personally, if other people want to get it, that's their choice. But I
Right.
fought for my life 2 times, and I'm not willing to risk a genetic condition. You have a mutation on one of your genes. So for me personally, wasn't it? It wasn't even an option. And you know, I'm lucky that I've had the support of my family and for the most part my friends. But it's been a hard, I don't know, 5-6 years for me. I was 20 when I had my first heart surgery, 22 when I had my second. So it's, you know, when you fight for your life, you're not willing to risk anything. And personally, I'm not anti-vaccine. I have had all of my other vaccines, but there is not enough research. And of course, with all of the heart issues coming out and the myocarditis and extremely healthy athletes dropping dead, as somebody who has health issues, it's not worth it for me. So obviously New York,
yeah,
you know, with the mandates and no exceptions, medical, religious, whatever, has been a really tough place for a lot of people, not just me. And it's really, like I said, it's been ostracizing.
Absolutely. And so, you know, I know you and I have spoken, and so you lost your job because of the mandates in New York City. And now you have a new mayor who ran on the platform of he's keeping these mandates in place, but all of a sudden he's pivoted and now he's going to lift them as of the 6th of March. I can only imagine, but how does this make you feel through everything you've been through?
It makes me a little sad because I do feel like I've been chased out of my home, but in my heart, and I've always believed that everything happens for a reason, and I'm looking forward to a fresh start. You know, maybe I'm not meant to be in corporate America. Maybe I'm meant to run my own business. I don't know, but for me, it's bittersweet because it would have been nice to have the stability of a job and be able to, you know, maybe stay in New York for another year, 2 years. I don't know. But it's not an option anymore. I can't afford to live in New York City with no job. That's crazy. Rent is through the roof and is only rising. So it's disappointing. And I hope that they keep this no mandate rule because I would love to come back and visit. I'm not sure that they will. It seems kind of like a ploy to get midterm election votes. They, you know, cured COVID or whatever. So I'm hopeful that this is permanent and we don't have to deal with it anymore. You know, I'm 26. I my dues being underage. I want to be able to go to a bar.
Right, exactly. Well, you hit on what my next question was, and that is, I mean, it's pretty wild. I was like, why are all these leftist politicians pivoting? And you and I both know